Hello, my name is Heidi. I am a storyteller based in Norway, oral storyteller. I am now sitting in my office at Oslomet Metropolitan University, where I also teach oral storytelling. In this project, ONlife, we and I explored oral storytelling in two different pilots. The first pilot was to run a workshop. The workshop consisted of 5 sessions and I ran 2 workshops. And the main topic in this workshop series was the story and creativity. When I made the workshops, I made them completely from scratch. I wanted to be as digital as possible, in the sense that everything I did was new. I've been teaching oral storytelling since 1996. So I have some experience in being physical teaching storytelling, but not as much in being digital. So I tried to make a workshop that took the opportunity of being digital. In the workshop I used Zoom as a platform. One reason is that most people are now used to using Zoom, so I didn't have any obstacles with the participants. Well, some were completely new to using Zoom, but it's quite easy when you're new to being digital to use Zoom. And because I also was experienced in using Zoom, it was easier for me to instruct if they're going as well, or if they didn't have understood the sound system, etc. Also, another thing with using Zoom is the opportunity to have breakout rooms. And then you can divide the group into smaller groups, and for some it is easier to share and talk and discuss and reflect in a smaller group. To get participants, I had adult participants. There were actors, museum, people working in museum, writers and storytellers, of course. To get them, I used different ways. I used the channels of Oslomet, like the Oslomet channels and the newsletter they have, etc. I also used my own newsletter, I used my own blog, and I used Facebook event. There were 24 people who were interested or signed up for the workshops, and 18 people who participated. Now the workshop was divided into 5 sessions, spread over once a week, spread over 5 weeks. And to keep the participants in a loop, I sent them an email in between each time. To keep them in the loop, to remind them, and to give them some new task as a preparation for the next workshop. Each session was very effective, and to some maybe too effective, too fast. But I wanted the participants to have a kind of a flow, the feeling of a flow in their experience. Each session had a topic. These were place, time, characters, scars, connections, all I think are important for a story. And it was practical. I have built it up being practical for being digital, but also the importance of being at home, because the participants were at home, I was at home, and we could use our home as a space of being creative. And the participants were spread all over Norway, and even some abroad. I had someone living in Germany and someone living in Finland participating in the workshop. The other project we did at Oslomet was a performance, a digital performance. We were a group working on the performance, a textile artist, a choreographer, and me as a storyteller. we started working with this performance. We performed it in November 2021, and we started already working on it in June 2021. One of the reasons for us starting that early was because, yes, we knew each other, the participants working with this performance, but we didn't know each other in a creative sense. We had never worked together. So we needed this time to be able to build up the ideas we had and figure out what it is to perform digitally. In this performance, we again decided to use Zoom. And this reason for this was that Zoom was more or less accessible for everyone. And then let us explore the performity within the frames of Zoom. In addition to being us three, we used 3 storytelling students and 2 technicians. And that says something about the complex of performing digitally. Because we wanted to, because of the framing of Zoom, we had to figure out other ways of exploring it. So we decided to use kind of 3 cameras. We used 3 iPads, and the students, they were moving around with the 3 iPads as we were performing, and the audience then had 3 images at the same time in the performance, so they could choose to what choose
they would have.
which sometimes close up on one and distance on another. So you had kind of 3. You had the feeling of being in 3 separate rooms. The audience had some comments on that. To some, it was too much information. To others, it was a kind of a relief to be able to choose, because when you are in a physical performance, you are not staring at the performer 24 hours. I said it also, but you're not staring constantly at the performer, but you are moving your your eyes around, and sometimes you look at another person in the audience, and sometimes you look at you understand. So you had the same sensation as we used 3 different views when we performed. To the performance, we invited a specific audience, a specially invited audience consisting of colleagues at Oslomet University and students and people we knew who had some competence in digitalization, and also the participants in the workshop. And they gave us feedback on what they think worked and what maybe did not work. Now, both these projects has been a huge challenge, but I feel grateful to be invited into exploring this, and I think this is not a substitute for what's happening in my not normal life, but what I'm used to, but it is an addition which I feel like exploring even more and see where it takes me when it comes to oral storytelling. So, yes, the digital space as a performative and educational space is quite challenging and exciting. Thank you for watching and listening to me.